lessons learned from both the meta-analysis and the exemplar. And the other deliverable is to provide a suite of decision trees, or we prefer to call it guidance, to assist users in selecting instruments and tools. So let's first focus on targeted synthesis. And how we get there is first through the blueprint protocol. So these were milestones that we have to produce. The questionnaire is available online. All the exemplars, apart from one, has filled this up yet. And what we do is to try to elicit responses from the 12 exemplars on specific issues such as the study design, which ecosystem services are being assessed, and so on. So it kind of provides a means to synthesize the information. If you want more information on this, it's in our own cloud in the Work Package 2 practice, Task 2.3 design and synthesis, and then these are all our outputs. So we have blueprint decision trees and lessons learned. But in summary, the type of things that you will find in that report are things such as how many exemplars actually look at specific provisioning ecosystem services, for instance, surface water from non-drinking purposes and so on. Or, for instance, what are the cultural ecosystem services assessed by our different exemplars? And finally, what are the tools, instruments, knowledge, and indicators that are used? So if you want a snapshot overview of the entire exemplar landscape, then this is where you go to. The next iteration of the blueprint protocol will now focus not only on the synthesis, in a sense summarizing what is being done, but on the operationalization process. So how has Opera helped operationalize the concept of ecosystem services? And we're planning a publication. We're working with the entire work package team to look at the operationalization of the concept. And we're progressing on this, so that's on the web as well. Let's now focus on the second deliverable that we have. So the second deliverable is to create decision guidance. To do that, what we started to do, because there is so much guidance currently planned in the Opera OpenNESS landscape, we started by asking our stakeholders what they actually want. The key questions we asked was how instruments and tools are chosen, what users look for when they look for guidance, and what are the best approaches to actually provide that guidance. Some of our key findings is that the expertise required, as well as the financial resources required, are key. So if a stakeholder is selecting or using guidance, they want to know that it's actually financially doable so the recommendations are financially doable and the expertise is available. The guidance must also be easy to use and provide communicable outputs. And finally, this is just some snapshots, but 89% of our stakeholders prefer online guidance to any sort of hard copy document that would be distributed. And that's quite important because that feeds very well to Opera. Finally, the third key question that we looked at was, well, what could underpin the guidance? Do we actually adopt decision trees, or do we use a multi-decision criteria analysis approach? What would be best? So we consulted our different stakeholders and asked them, again, what they would want and what are the key criteria that they want in the guidance. We developed a matrix of criteria and then tested different types of approach, from Bayesian belief network, decision trees, and so on, different decision support tools, and scored them. And the outcome is that the multi-criterion decision analysis and the BBNs scored the top, with small differences between them. So if we are to provide any form of system that underpins the guidance, then these should be the systems that go in. The second bit is the creation of a working group. So we've realized that within OpenNESS and Opera and Opera, there's lots of guidance. That's why we call it the forest, because there's so much. So we've created a working group that has representatives from all Work Package 2, Work Package 3, and Work Package 4, as well as OpenNESS. We have a very clear suite of objectives, from agreeing on the terminology so that we don't confuse our stakeholders, to reviewing all the plans. what is being planned in both projects, and then ultimately leading to key decision guidance on OPLA. This is our timeline. What's important to note here is the top one is that we created a summary of all the guidance plan. I'm going to run through this very quickly. OpenNESS is planning to provide guidance on selections of method. Two types of method, biophysical and valuation. What's key for OPERA is that there is some fundamental overlap between the fact sheets that are planned by OpenNESS and what Central Laborel is currently planning in terms of guidance. So we want to make sure that there is more collaboration there between the two projects. Same here with valuation methods. There's quite a lot of overlap between the social cultural valuation that's planned by Astrid, Craig and Marcus, Torsten and Leonard's policy context, and Ian Batesman economic valuation. So any sort of guidance that would emerge from OPERA is also potentially covered by OpenNESS. So we may want to create some synergies there. And finally, this is what we are proposing. We have this suite of guidance list and this suite of fact sheets. The good news is that in general, if we can synthesize it this way, there is a good complementarity between OpenNESS and OPERA. We produce fact sheets on tools and services, whereas OpenNESS produces fact sheets on methods. So it's good to in a sense, bear that in mind in the plans. So I'm 1 minute over. These are the sort of outputs that we have so far, but we're basically coming to the point where we are now engaging with the decision trees and the synthesis. Thank you.